I'm Marvel. This channel exists to connect gamers to MMOs they'll love. In this series, you will follow the journey of a squad of characters as we explore the beauty and depth of design brilliance in Wakfu. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more MMO content. In the prior video, I had completed the Incarnate tutorial and had made significant progress into the Astra new player experience. However, upon logging back in after a few weeks, I had no context for what my character was doing in the near, medium, nor long term. Josh Drive Hayes has described such feelings as a potential quit moment, yet instead of stopping to play, I decided to stop playing this particular tune. But not just her. I will delete all of my other characters and start anew, much like a rising phoenix. To that end, I may as well experience Wakfu with fresh eyes, and anything I lose in this rebirthing process no longer has any significance to me anyways. So let's begin. There's a reason why I want to delete my other characters too. It's because I want to start this journey on the same page with all of my other tunes. This is important because a unique element of Wakfu is that you can team up with up to 2 of your other alts. I wish this was a common feature shared amongst all MMOs, and it reminds me of Guild Wars 1 system, yet Wakfu's implementation is far more robust. Access to your other characters requires a subscription which only costs north of $6. Its affordability makes it one of the most accessible in the MMO landscape, not to mention its liberal free-to-play option. However, we will soon run into some issues related to the subscription and the newbie experience. But within a moment, the booster is active. Time to start afresh and make a new character. Notice that I am not asked whether or not I want to play through the tutorial. I tend to prefer archery in most MMOs, so I choose the Craw. The character creation options are fairly robust in terms of color customization. I'm now ready to begin my character. But I'm playing through the Incarnate tutorial again? I thought I already did this in my prior video. Can't I skip it? Since there's no OOC or help channel, I asked why I couldn't skip this introduction and recruiting. So many helpful replies came flooding in that I had trouble responding to everyone. What's more impressive is that most of these individuals are writing English as a second language. I'm told that the game gives you a choice only if another character has completed Arcanum. Since I deleted my other characters, the game now has no other tunes against which to check to see if my characters on the account have been through the tutorial. Thus, from here I decide to go to the select character screen. As an aside, I appreciate that you can sign out mid-battle, since as we'll see later, combat can be a time investment. Regardless, I click create a character again, yet now I'm given the option to skip the tutorial. So you don't have to complete Arcanum, just visit. I think the developers should change the requirement from checking if a character on the account has accessed the area to tagging the account to avoid confusing moments such as this. Regardless, since I also love summoning classes in MMOs, I also roll a Asamada's Whip. They're reportedly exceptionally difficult, so if you're a Wakfu veteran, I'll need your help soon. I'm now in the world and can effectively skip Arcanum. I should be able to group with my alts now, right? The text in the UI states that I must have an active booster, yet I do. So obviously, having a boosted account is not the only sufficient condition by which I can group with my other characters. I have to get to the bottom of this. As I'm pillaging through the UI to see what I'm misunderstanding, I stumble upon a gift page. I'm not sure how I received these, whether they are part of the subscription as a hidden reward, or if there are account-wide gifts I qualified for in my previous expeditions into the Wakfu MMO. However, I do like the detail that when your character loots an item, its icon momentarily flies above their head. I open my inventory to see what these items are and how to use them. I link the Aegis costume, yet I'm not sure what linking does. Also, according to the inventory screen, no cosmetic changes were made either. I tried to equip the Oz stuffed toy, yet realize it's a Haven bag decoration. If you're new to Wakfu, we'll get to what a Haven bag is in a moment. The Dab item is an emote, and you can see the small hand icon to the right of the image. I realize now that its average price is over 100k, and you can see that I only have about 200 in-game currency, so perhaps using this emote was a fiscal mistake. I presume I could have sold it. Regardless, I use both the dragon skin and the finisher. The prior presumably overrides the skin for an eligible pet, which I don't currently have, and the latter is a type of animation that plays after you successfully land the killing blow of a fight. We'll see it in action later. I tried to add Meryl to my team yet am unable to, but now I can see that at least the costume is working. I should add that my UI is dark blue instead of the original brighter design. This is because Wakfu recently added a custom UI feature. While there will be occasional graphical oddities, the dark tone is far easier on the eyes than the default color scheme. I ask in recruitment again as to why I cannot group with my alts despite having a booster. The main reason seems to be because all teammates have to be part of the same nation, or non-nation, due to the PvP faction system. The problem is that the non-nation tag is only applied after I leave this house and speak to Pappy Paul. This is the second time I encountered a preventative yet unexplained rule. If a developer watches this video, consider updating the backend logic to address these hiccups in the new player experience. I walk outside to speak with Pappy Paul. The world building in Wakfu is top-notch. Did you hear Marle's footsteps against the coins? This attention to detail is just the beginning. The dialogue here is important as it introduces the player to Wakfu's Haven Bag, a type of player housing. You're supposed to give one to him from his wife to repay the debt as a result of falling through his roof and destroying his bed. Yet he gifts it back to you for personal use. We'll explore this feature shortly. Pappy Paul is also the leader of the Mercenaries Guild and sends us on another tutorial that begins the prologue. Each of these bags on the ground seem to represent a player currently in their Haven world. Swords in the ground presumably are active battles taking place. Almost every NPC, tree, bush, bench, or chair can be interacted with. You can also tell that the city is thriving with player activity. I am keenly looking forward to our adventure in Wakfu. I push the little bag icon to enter your character's haven. The dual soundtrack issue pops up, so my presumption is that the duration of the audio fade is a bit too long. However, remember the decorations from earlier? You can place them here. I figure that you can drag and drop, yet nope, that'll delete them. You have to push the Use Item button for placement. I'm also noticing that their average value seems incredibly high, so I wonder if their utility for me would be more pronounced if I should sell them instead of using them as a decoration. It's also clear if these add any statistical benefit or are simply visual trophies. Additionally, I walk up to a bin that apparently serves as universal storage for your entire account. I love this feature, since it's a shareable bank across all characters, accessible almost anywhere. It's incredibly convenient and woven into the game's lore without being strangled by pay-to-win monetization schemes. There also appears to be an incredible amount of available bank space, so I imagine that there are scores of items to loot, collect, and craft. I leave my bag to select another character to see if I'm missing something. Notice the wave emote as you transition to the selection screen. I love that Wakfu considers all of these little details, although work can be done related to the already mentioned slight aggravations. I now log into MarleVVLL to acquire the non-nation status. Notice that these characters are all level 6. Apparently, if you skip the Incarnum floating island, you begin in Astra, the newbie mercenary area, at this level. After speaking with Pappy, I open my character's characteristic window. There's a button with a head and a plus sign to the left, which enables you to either add alts to your party or sidekicks, which are similar to Star Wars: The Old Republic's companions. Moreover, MarleVVLL is now available. Progress. All that's left is to create my third alt to finish the group. I decide on Sadida Shu, which looks like a druid, and in expected fashion, I love druid classes, so this hopefully will be a great fit for our ragtag team. Perhaps the group's composition is horrible with respect to the accepted beta, although I think the potential disarray will create novel and interesting situations to puzzle through. After having all of my newly created characters skip the tutorial and speak to the mercenary leader, it's time to finally construct my group. I open the characteristics window and assemble my team. Now it's time to get started, yet I have no idea what I'm doing. I have to invest into my character's characteristics, yet I have no clue how these scale with respect to each class as the game progresses. For now, I simply emphasize HP and defense, although I presume experienced players know early, mid, and late game builds for each class. Now it's time to go to the training room to, well, train. As I run, you can see that characters move on a grid much like RuneScape. After I leave the room, you speak with the guard, foreshadowing warning, who encourages you to train with the dummy. Notice that the combat encounter uses the location around it. Also, each class seems to have its own unique intro animation for the scene. Want to see what combat is all about in Wakfu? Watch the next episode to find out. Thanks for watching.